somebody forgot to hit the record button, so there's no video for the first 27 or 28 minutes, and I'm not making eye contact because it's my fault. I'm not going to name names. Nobody's in trouble. Anyway, enjoy the episode. Ready to do it. Ready?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the news waits for no man.
Wow.
Wow, that was
sudden.
We didn't even get through the intro.
Wow. Okay, well. Florida man breaking news from March 21st, 2018. Two Florida men, one dressed in a bull onesie, arrested after breaking into their ex-boyfriend's home and trying to burn his house down with a boiling pot of ragu sauce.
Awesome.
Derek Irving, 36, and John Silva, 28, were arrested after allegedly breaking into the home and stealing several items, including a flat screen television, window AC unit, and a vacuum. The victim told WKMC that Irving was wearing a bull onesie costume. The men initially denied the burglary, but when authorities went to the home, they found a burning pot of ragu sauce and a washcloth near the stove's burner, which appeared to be an effort to start a fire. He was trying to make it look like I left the stove on. Who gets up at 2 a.m. and fixes sketty, the victim said.
Sketty. I love it.
Yeah, that's exactly how it says in the article. So, both men were charged with unarmed burglary, grand theft, and arson.
Oh
And I
gosh.
I like the bull onesie. You're going to commit a robbery, you may as well. Especially if you're trying to burn down someone's house with a pot of spaghetti sauce.
I just assumed it was one of you guys with the bull onesie. It just sounds like something Jason would probably do.
Yeah.
If I could find it in my size.
This next one is actually from October 18th, 2021. I don't know why something from October 18th popped up when I Googled Florida man March 21st.
Hey, whatever.
But I want to read it anyway because I don't know if we'll be doing one on October 18th. So, Florida man arrested for pleasuring himself with ice pack in front of first responders. A Florida man's been arrested for pleasuring himself with the ice pack that the first responders gave him when they were on call to assist him with breathing issues.
Would that have the opposite effect?
You'd think.
30-year-old Terry Majors called 911 because he was experiencing shortness of breath. But once the EMT crew arrived, Majors removed his clothing and began masturbating with an ice pack in the presence of the first responders. He was arrested and charged with exposure of sexual organs, misdemeanor.
Oh my gosh. That's a misdemeanor?
Apparently.
Oh, are
First
you mad now that
officers-
yours was a felony?
Yeah, I'm a little bit upset.
First responders will like to prosecute, said Officer Hannah Duran in the arrest report.
Oh, were they women that showed up to the scene?
I don't know. It didn't say.
Well,
It
that's why
sounds
women
like it
shouldn't-
sounds like he called them just to
Yeah.
do that in front of them.
Yeah.
Well, this is why women shouldn't be in the military. They shouldn't be as a first responder. They shouldn't be a police officer. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
Don't hurt me.
Jason, it didn't even say they were women. It could have been dudes for all we know.
Well, you said Hannah was one of the people who reported it.
One of the officers, yeah.
Yeah. So
So, yeah, that is our Florida man update for March 21st and apparently October 18th.
All right, great. Well, thank you for that. I guess get back to the regularly scheduled program. Jeez. Ridiculous. Welcome to Dysfunctional Adults, the comedy podcast in which we discuss weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. Yeah. We are bitter, cynical Gen Xers saddled with crippling debt and depressingly past our primes. But that's what makes this podcast so much fun. Rock
That was a
hard.
really good change of pace with the Florida Man Bulletin.
Well, I don't know why you're saying it like we did it on purpose or anything. It just
It's breaking news. It just happens.
It just happens.
It happens when it happens. Sometimes it's breaking news to report stories from 6 years ago. You just can't wait.
It's breaking news for our audience. Okay.
Yes.
awesome.
Zach, you look
Hi.
even more clean shaven.
Yeah.
I've made a huge mistake. I'll admit it. I was like, well, I'll just go a little shorter. I get tired of I look like this now, so it'll grow back.
Oh, no. Just because you look like powder is fine. You know?
Yeah. I just wish I had the powers.
Yeah, last week was Jason Statham, remember?
Right. And now powder, that's
You went from Jason Statham to like, Richard Mall or something.
yeah, I'm not too proud.
It'll grow back fast.
It's my kitty.
Aw. Kitty. Meow. Can't hear me. I don't even know why I did that.
That's okay. He knows.
He
He
knows.
knows.
Well,
He's a cat. He would have ignored you anyways.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I know. I'm so tired today. I keep
Wake
yawning.
up, dude. We've got shit to do.
I know.
Right?
I'm sorry. I've got this ring light in my face too. You think it'd keep me awake?
I'm tired too, man. I hear you. I don't know if you see like my eyes are red and stuff, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just go sleep.
meth does
Just take a
that. It
nap.
dries you out, you know. So, what have you guys
Yeah.
been up to? What have you been doing?
You want me to go first?
Absolutely.
I can go first.
All right.
So last Friday, I had a father-son day with my middle child.
Nice.
I mean, they're twins, so the middle child's 2 minutes older than the youngest child, but,
Yeah.
But anyway, I try to give them individual time so they're not just some monolith, They're always like the twins or something. But so every year I take each kid to dinner and a jazz game separately, so they each get their daddy time. And you ever let kids pick the restaurant? I don't know what it is with McDonald's. You tell kids, we can go anywhere. They always pick McDonald's.
Yep.
I think like McDonald's like injects crack into their food, but it's like a special type of crack that only addicts children.
Uh-huh.
Because like once you're past the age of like 12, you don't like crave McDonald's anymore. Even by fast food, do you? Even by like fast food standards, it's kind of like the bottom of the barrel.
Hey, dude, don't be rude. The McGriddle, man. The McGriddle and the Egg McMuffin and the Big Mac.
They
those
got
Americana. It's like apple pie.
They got a
And the
few
apple
things.
pie crispers.
They have a few things I can eat if I have to, but I only go there with my kids because pretty much every other fast food restaurant is better than McDonald's.
Oh, I love McDonald's. I'm
Do you?
sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I
Especially
just don't
when
see
they
it.
have
I
the
don't know what it
McRib.
is.
The McRib, man. When they have that, it's like Christmas.
Isn't that
I mean, like-
about when it comes out anyways? Christmas?
It's Christmas, Hanukkah, and Ramadan all rolled into one.
Wow.
Yeah, I just
Wow.
don't see it. Wendy's is so much better than McDonald's. Carl's Jr. is so much better. In-N-Out Burger is so much better.
It's the marketing, man.
In-N-Out.
It's the marketing. It's the
The
toys.
only
They
one
just
that,
do
that
everything
might not be
right.
better is Burger King. They're pretty low on the totem as well. But
They're gone, kind of.
Who? Burger King?
They're dying.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're closing up shops all around.
Oh, I think I
So-
saw something about that.
Yeah,
That's
makes
crazy.
me sad because my last name's King and I like hamburgers.
Well, I'm with you, John. I'm going to be picking up my son here pretty soon, and I already know where he's going to want to eat. It's going to be
Yeah.
McDonald's that night. And I don't even do fast food generally, but at least there's one thing at the McDonald's that I will eat if I have to eat there. But I
Yeah.
usually just take him to McDonald's and then go to another place that I actually want to go to. So he walks into Red Lobster with his McDonald's,
it's McDonald's bag, yeah.
You gotta admit, man,
Yeah.
they have the Happy Meal. Like we all grew up on the Happy Meal, right? It was like for
The
me,
thing
it was
is,
a treat.
a
We were
Happy
poor,
Meal-
so
You're paying a couple bucks for the toy.
it's like
But the
$9
toys-
now.
Yeah, the toys are never anything good. Like they're so
Doesn't
excited to
matter.
get the toy, and then a week later it's in the DI box to just, it's like we paid a couple bucks extra for that. If you price out all the food separately, cheaper because you're not getting the toy. The toy just goes straight in the DI box anyway. So
Yeah, but kids don't think like that. It's a toy in a box with food, chicken nuggets.
yeah,
Yeah,
other places have kids' meals.
I will die in this mother freaking hill.
Apparently, you will.
McDonald's
But anyway,
is a part of America. What are you, a terrorist?
yeah.
Commie.
So anyway, we get to the game, and of course, at halftime, he wants refreshments, so you have to go get a drink in those little cups of Dippin' Dots are like that big. $26 for 2 small cups of Dippin' Dots and 1 soda.
Wow.
And then, okay, not only does it cost $26, but they have the nerve to ask for a tip afterwards. And it's not only that it costs 3 times more than it should, but they don't even take your order. They have a poll that you scan a QR code on, and you order it on your phone. So who are you even tipping, and for what?
Right.
You order it yourself. You pay 3 times more than it's even worth, and then they have the balls to ask for a tip.
This sounds like I'm too old for this shit segment.
Could get there, yeah. But anyway, so okay, I clicked on no tip with no guilt whatsoever. But even clicking on the no tip wasn't enough. If they had another option that said hell no and eat a bag of dicks for even asking, I would have clicked on that so many times. Because that's just infuriating how they have the gall to ask for a tip when they're already, bending you over backwards over a garbage can with these prices, and then making you order your own food anyways. All they're doing is like filling your drain.
I know.
So, well, I picked up some pizzas from Domino's tonight for my kids, and they did ask for a tip. I went in. All the guy did was bring the pizza to the counter and take my money, and I'm like, I'm not putting a tip. No, what did you do? You walked 5 feet to get my pizzas.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Like, did you make the pizzas? I doubt this guy did. He was working the counter, So, it's so frustrating.
Well, with all of
I have a whole thing we can go into this if we want to do the I'm too old for this shit after we're done talking about what we're doing. So anyway, we spent $26 on very minor refreshments, and then we go back to our seat, and my son accidentally kicks over his drink.
Aww.
I just spent $9 on for that soda.
That's a bummer.
So needless to say, after the game, it was straight to the orphanage to drop him off.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. No, he actually did redeem himself, though, because a little while later into the game, when everyone's chanting, defense, defense. He was chanting, these nuts, these nuts.
Wow.
And the best part is, it's one of those things you want to tell him to stop, but I was laughing too hard, so I couldn't. When you tell a kid to stop, but you're laughing while you say it, they don't take you seriously.
No, they don't.
The best part is, though, he actually got other people around us to start chanting that as well. There was a group of Gen Zers behind us, and they overheard him, and they started chanting, these nuts, these nuts.
He's a leader.
Yep.
Yeah, and so once you hear a few people saying that, it really does start to sound like the whole audience is saying that. That's all that's in your head. So
he just bridged the generational gap between Alpha and Z. He just bridged that.
Yeah, exactly. If they followed the lead of a 9-year-old proudly.
That's
scary. So yeah, the whole second half of the game, all I could hear is the crowd chanting, these nuts, these nuts. All because of a 9-year-old and his wacky sense of humor.
And your wife's influence. I've heard her say that a lot.
Yeah, the kids like that saying. So, so anyway, yeah, that was my weekend.
Nice. Well, it sounds like it was a good time.
It was a good time. Other than my fury at the cost of concessions and the expected tip came with it.
It's bizarre, and it's not going to be very long before everything's going to be automated anyway. You're going to go to that thing, you're going to scan your QR code, you're going to make your order, and it's going to be a machine that provides it to you and then asks for a tip.
Yeah,
won't be long.
It's going to factor in a gratuity automatically,
And some places do, and then they still ask for a tip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's BS.
That was definitely a too old for this shit at the same time. It's like 2 birds, 1 stone. That's great.
Like I said, I got more. If you want to hit that, I can keep going on this subject. I have more examples I can give.
I'm gonna let Jason go next, and then we'll do that after. we'll do the too old for this shit after that. You have one too today?
Well, I want to hear your update.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of plays into my. So I'll go first, I guess, and then you'll go last, because you're always last. You're the last. I know. So my car that was stolen, was found. It was only a couple of days, 3 days, something like that. It wasn't very long.
Is it like Jason's driveway?
Yeah. Bizarre, right?
I found it for you.
Yeah. What's with all the Happy Meal containers in the back, Jason?
I went on a bender.
They called, said they found it. So by Monday, I talked to the adjuster. She said, "Yeah, go to the tow yard where it is and sign the release for the insurance to pick it up." So I go there, and I'm hoping some of my stuff's in there. I've got so much shit in there. I've got my fishing poles. I don't know if I already went over this before. I've got my fishing poles, my fishing gear, my tackle, some waders. I've got my grandpa's old BB gun in the back there, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff that you don't think about that adds up, like your phone cradle, your charger, if it's a special charger, proprietary and does the turbocharging, that's $40 or what, all that stuff adds up, and it ends up being like $650 worth of stuff that was in my car. So I get to the car and I'm about to open the car door, and I said to the guy, I was like, "You think they smoked meth in here?" He's like, "Well, there's already a needle on the floor." And I looked down, yeah, there's a needle on the floor of my car, and I was like, damn. So I opened up the car. Now, I haven't smoked meth. I joke about it a lot. I haven't smoked meth, but it's meth immediately, and it just wafts up into my face. It is thick. It smells like what the cupboard under my sink smells like with all the chemicals, and I'm not joking, but coarser, harder, thicker. It's so bad. And I'm like, holy shit. And and he just kind of like walks away. He could have warned me, but he didn't. I've never experienced this. He's a tow guy. I know he's experienced this. But anyway, I know because I used to tow cars. I was a tow truck driver. It was the worst job in the universe. Anyhow. So inside of this vehicle is all this shit that isn't mine. Suitcases and bags, like kids' book bags, things like, just everything that this person possibly could have stolen. There's an empty box of Sudafed on the floor. So I know
maybe he just had a headache.
Yeah, sure. They weren't cooking, small hits of meth in the car. They couldn't possibly. I don't know if you can actually technically do that or not. I don't, but anyhow.
Cigarette lighter, and a spoon.
Yeah, I don't know. So I made a couple mistakes. I decided to dig through the shit because I wanted my stuff. Or I wanted to see what was left. I had a picture of like my mom in there, and I had, like I said, the charger.
I have a picture of your mom in my car too.
I know. It's the same one that I have. Which, how did you get that? That's wait, are you my dad? I knew it.
I can neither confirm nor deny those allegations.
I think math can deny it.
And science and
biology.
Yep. So like my prescription sunglasses are in there. Well, that's gone. Everything's basically gone, but I'm digging through the shit anyway, trying to get to the floor of the vehicle to see if any of my stuff just happened to end up there.
You get stuck, did you?
No, I was being very careful, but I knew that was a possibility, but I'm digging through the stuff kind of, and I have to keep getting out and taking breaths of fresh air because it's so cloying. So long story short, my bowling shoes were in the trunk still. The trunk, they didn't get in there and smoke the meth, so it didn't smell bad in there. So I took the shoes. My fishing net was in there. I took the net. Everything else that they could pawn, they pawned. Everything else that was in the vehicle and it was filled up, like I said, was other people's stuff. I don't know anything about it. I get back to my car and I get in, and my face, like I'm red all through my face through here. And I don't know if it's because I'm stressed out and frustrated and I have hypertension as it is, and I don't have any meds for it right now. So I don't know if my blood pressure is just real high and this is a very emotional situation for me, or if I'm a little high on meth, because I feel a little woozy. I feel like a little, messed up. And I'm like not high, not like I smoked some, but just all of my skin is porous. and meth is water soluble. So I'm touching all of this stuff, and I may have touched my face and not realized it. Well, a little bit later, as I'm about to get going in my car, I itch my face right here, and it just lights up red. It is red. It itches. It burns. I'm like, okay, it's on me. It's on my fingers. Of course it is. I touched all the stuff that's been like soaking in the fumes for however many days. So I get back to the house. I don't feel good for a few hours, but then I feel really good. And so anyway, the whole point of this...
I wrote a play.
Yeah. And I'm about to perform it for you now. So the whole point of the story is my review for meth is 10 out of 10, would try again, but under different circumstances. No. So
you pay a lot for your dental work, man. You don't want to do meth.
Good point. I've suffered recently.
Charge tweakers to go like lick your car seats and stuff.
Yeah, good idea. Well, so that it's been picked up by the appraiser, or well, the company that's working for the appraiser. They're gonna see if the vehicle is
salvageable.
Salvageable. So I will know at the beginning of this coming week.
Do they have to decontaminate it? Like,
if it's salvageable and cheaper to do so, then yes, they will decontaminate it, which is fine by me. But
yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, because otherwise I have no car and I lose all the money I paid toward it. I have not, like, I lose thousands of dollars in this exchange. It's just that I don't have a car payment anymore, so it's still a loss. But so we'll see what happens. You know.
I'm sorry, man.
You still got your rental car?
Yeah. Oh my God. So it's a Chevy Spark. It's like this fucking big. It's this big. I look like Donkey Kong in a cart, in a go-kart. I'm in Mario Kart. You were talking about that the other in episode 4, doing Mario Kart with the tumbleweeds. But I look like a monkey in this thing. And I drive trucks, I drive trailers, I drive all of these giant vehicles. I've driven excavators, I've driven backhoes, I've driven all sorts of things. I get in this car, I can't drive now. Suddenly, every turn that I'm like oversteering everything. I go to get into you could fit 2 of these cars in one parking spot. It's so small, and I can't handle it. I'm just like, oh, it's turning. I have no control over it. I don't understand it.
Oh, no.
So that's been fun.
That sounds awful. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, it actually has been kind of fun with the car, but I do have.
At least you could dress up like a clown, so when the kids see you get out of this clown car, at least it's amusing for people watching you.
Right.
How many people you could fit in the back seat of it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's little, that's for sure. What I was before we brought that up, what I was gonna bring up that I've been doing is, and I'll try to make this quick. I've been looking for ways of transcribing our episodes because it allows more accessibility to people that either can't hear, or it also allows people that don't speak English as a native language or a second language or at all. It can be translated. They can enjoy the show too, whatever. It just opens up accessibility. So I was looking for automatic transcribers, any kind of open source free software that'll do it, whatever. And I tried a lot of things, and I found this one. And this one's awesome because it's a company where you send the phone calls that your employees have with a customer to this company to transcribe, and then the AI listens to the call and gives you pointers on how you can be better and talk. You know what I'm talking about?
We have that at work.
Oh, great. Yeah. It's probably the same company, but I'm not going to name them because I don't want to get in trouble. So I put our first episode into this.
Nice.
And it was totally unexpected. This was not. I only did it for the transcription for that effect, and then it ended up being this wonderful thing that I think I can milk for a few episodes. All right. 1 hour and 12 minutes of an episode transcribed half correctly, and on the side of the transcript is a synopsis of what the AI thinks is a call to a company from a customer. It reads as follows. Customer is hosting a comedy podcast with their co-hosts Jason and Zach, discussing weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. They have a live audience and are recording the podcast. The customer has been with the show for over 30 years and has a good sense of humor. They are looking for topics to discuss and are open to suggestions. The customer has a sick child with cancer and would appreciate a funny take on the situation. I have no idea what we talked about in that episode to make it think that.
Is this episode 1 of season 2 or season 1?
It's either episode 1 or episode 8 of season 1.
Okay.
But I don't remember talking about a sick child with cancer and trying to get a joke out of it.
No.
It goes on. This transcript is about a podcast episode in which the hosts discuss their lives, careers, and hobbies. They talk about their experiences working in fast food, their love for good food and drinks, and their sense of humor. They also discuss their podcast and their plans for the future. Topics: lounge spot, interactive show, cynicism, comedy, pop culture, middle-aged dads, weird news. The entities: person name, Zach. The product name, Big Sexy Jason Show.
Yes.
That's the product it thinks we're selling, the Big Sexy
That's
Jason
gonna
Show.
be my own spin-off podcast, the Big Sexy Jason Show.
Well,
I'll
check
do
this
it
out.
without my shirt on.
Oh, good. Oh, let's do it. Oh, I'll just be the producer. And this fits in too. Price, free. RMA number, third mic, order number, Sonic. Because in the episode we talked about Sonic food or the drive-in or whatever. Email address, none. Price, 5 stars. Product name, Sonic. Order number, none. But here's the other part that popped up too. Welcome to this Functional Adults podcast in which we discuss weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. I'm your host, the illustrious Big Sexy Jason, also known as Zach and Scrolling Johnson. In this episode, we discuss the struggles of being a cynical Gen Xer with crushing debt and feeling past our prime. We also talk about our experiences working in fast food and doing prank stuff. We are paid by Sonic to endorse their good food, and we encourage listeners to rate us and give us feedback on what they'd like us to talk about. It was so much fun reading that. Yeah.
Hey, Zach,
The end.
real quick.
Yeah.
You're recording, right?
Mm-hmm. No, shit. I'm not.
Oh, no.
Luckily, I'm recording the audio on the thing. Well, thank you for bringing that up. I am so sorry. We did not record.
I looked to the left and I'm like, where's the little red light?
Can you imagine if I hadn't been recording the audio though? Oh my God, we'd have to do all that over, and it's never as funny the second time.
That's super funny.
But yeah, well, your turn.
Yeah, it is my turn. I had to do another fertility test.
Yay!
Yeah.
What's the process for that, Jason?
Just for the people that don't know.
I'll just get into it a little bit real quick.
It's like I've been doing that since I was 9. Pretty much an expert on that by now.
No, not 9. I had to go pick up what they call a specimen kit, which is basically a paper brown lunch bag. Do you remember the lunch bags that we used to have in elementary school?
Yeah,
I didn't know they really made them still, but yeah, it's just a paper lunch bag with a sterile jar in it and some lube and some instructions. So
yours came with lube.
Was there a magazine?
No. But here's the thing. So it's weird. They had me go to a different place in Daybreak, which for me is an hour away, right? And so I had to go pick up the kit there, but I had to turn in the sample somewhere else. But anyway, on Friday afternoon, I get off work and I drive down to Daybreak, and I go into this medical center, and I go to the second floor like I was instructed, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, there's a sign that says men's health, so I walk past the only like receptionist on the whole floor, because it's like an open floor with like offices on the periphery, like around. So I truck it on over to the men's health, and I look through the doors, and there's not a receptionist counter. There's just a hallway with more doors. And I'm like, where am I supposed to go? So of course I've got to go ask the receptionist, right? Which is the last thing I want to do.
Just go in a random room and start the process.
No, I wasn't going to do it on site. But so I went up to the receptionist, and this other lady was like talking to her, and this other lady worked there, I hope. Anyway, so I'm like, I'm here to pick up a kit for semen analysis. And I kid you not.
And your Falcon copulation hat.
Oh, that thing haunts me still, but I guess it's effective. And the holes are the right size. Anyway, so I asked her, like, where am I supposed to get this? She's like, oh, they're right here. Like loud and super friendly. And so she opens this drawer, and of course she pulls out this paper bag, and this other lady's over there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, so she hands it to me. She's like, here you go. And then before she starts giving me instructions again, and she's like, now you need to take it to the other facility on. And I just finished the address for her. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's like, okay. She's like, have a great weekend.
Happy jacking.
And so
I call up a megaphone. This guy needs a semen analysis kit. Analysis kit for this man right here. He's going to go and jerk it and give us a sample. This guy right here, everyone. This guy
with the broken balls right here. This guy who can't father children. So I stepped to the elevator, and of course the other lady who heard the whole thing is waiting for the elevator too. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go call the elevator down here. And so I hit the call button, hoping that my elevator will be separate from hers. Nope, it's the one between us that opens up. So she gets on, and I get on, and I've got my brown bag. And she's like, do you want the first floor? I'm like, yes. And I'm like turned away from her, staring at the wall. And the funny thing is, I don't think they cared, right?
Right.
But I was embarrassed that they knew that I was embarrassed. So anyway, and I said this was short. I guess it's running long. But on Monday, I had to produce the sample and bring it to this other site, which now that I've moved far away from Salt Lake is also an hour away. Here's the problem. It's time sensitive. You have to deposit the sample within a certain window of time, which is about an hour, right? And so
it's like life flight with like an artificial heart or something in it.
Exactly.
Cooler of ice.
So when I was younger, this would have been no problem. But pressure and anxiety, realizing you're on a timetable, I was late. So you actually have an appointment for when you're supposed to drop it off. So I thought I had timed it all right, and I must be out of practice. But it was hard.
I didn't say anything.
I'm getting embarrassed right now. But anyway, so I successfully produced the sample. I jump in my car, and I speed like I'm breaking law. And I feel like a couple times I look over and it's in my passenger seat, and I almost imagine it's like I'm talking to like my pregnant wife while I'm taking her to the hospital. We'll get there, baby. It's okay. Don't worry. So I'm like speeding all the way into Salt Lake and then up to the University of Utah. And I seriously get to the counter, and I'm like out of breath. And there was a guy and a girl sitting at the counter, and the guy was really cool. He's like, it's okay. He kept like trying to calm me down. Like, look, I'm sorry I'm late. I live, far away. And this girl, who's a very attractive young lady, she's like, well, next time you can just do it on site.
Oh, of course.
And I'm like, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. But anyway, so I turn it in, and the guy keeps like reassuring me that I'm okay. And he's like, he asked me like, well, so what time was this produced? I'm like, I tell him, time. And he had to ask me again, but and again, it's that compounding effect. They knew I was embarrassed, and so they're trying to like be really cool with me. But it was like making me more embarrassed that they knew that I was embarrassed. And it just became this like, I could not get out of there fast enough. Like, I'm like, can I go yet? Can I go yet? He's like, well, I just need to get your payment. I'm like, okay, here, have all the money. I'm out of here. Like, put a wad of cash on the counter.
I already put down a deposit. What do you mean?
And here's the best part. So I start leaving, and I've got the bag with me still. I gave him the sample. Okay, they have the sample. And he's like, oh, you can throw that away here, like when I'm halfway out the door. So anyway, that was my second experience with a fertility test. The good news is I'm back, baby.
Yay! Woo! Congratulations.
Nice.
Kind of. It's really not great, but it's better than nothing.
There was one that was good. They're like,
it's like a really big one though.
They're like, sir, the government wants to talk to
you. Speaking of the government, had the police pulled you over for speeding and breaking laws and stuff, you could have just yelled, "My children's lives are at stake," and shown them.
I thought about that. Not saying those specific words, but being like, I've got to get there before this expires.
Yeah, man.
You just see me pulling into the parking lot with cops behind me, just like they pit me. Arrest me, but take this to the counter.
The cup
first,
goes
please.
flying. Yeah.
you gotta take it.
Well, you did say something that I'm going to use from now on, and every time I climax, I'm going to say, "I'm successfully producing a sample." Just that's sexy. That's sexy.
I don't know about that, but you do you, boo.
I'm going to be alone, so I won't be that embarrassed.
You'll be on OnlyFans.
Well, I guess I am never alone.
Broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. Fun for us.
You're right.
Hearing about it.
It would have been really awful if I'd gotten in a car accident over this. And
That'd have been rough.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to add something in real quick, and it's this. When I'm doing the editing, I hear your laugh, Jason, backwards all the time, and it cracks me up every time.
Actually sounded like the sound that I made when I was producing my sample.
Awesome. So sad. This, I mean, not what you...
Too old for this shit.
Who's the old man today?
Well, it's me, but I'm sure you guys could chime
You're
in with your
always-
own examples.
I don't have any.
Well-
I'm too young.
You're all about this tipping culture shit, huh? Okay, well, tipping has gotten out of control. What they expect tips for. Okay, to start off, I get annoyed the way they always play it coy. Like when you're at a counter or something and they turn the iPad toward you, it's like, hey, it's going to ask you one question.
I don't know what it says.
I wonder what that question is. Or once I wanted them to turn it around to question something like, so what was your favorite Metallica album? Or, do you enjoy Picasso's earlier work or his later post-contemporary modern period? No, it's always
just asking for money.
It's always for that stupid tipping shit. So anyway, I looked up BuzzFeed. They had an article on people writing and giving examples of ridiculous tipping culture they had. This was originally going to be a show and tell, but I thought it worked as I'm too old for this shit instead. and some of these, I mean, I've personally seen some of these. This one, someone sent a picture of a QR code next to the buttons on an elevator in a hotel.
What?
They were asking for a tip. The elevator. Or what? Who does that money go to?
Back in the day, they used to have elevator operators. You'd give them tips.
Yeah, but to have a QR code next to the button so you can scan it and leave a tip.
That sounds like a scam.
Of you
Won't let
pressing
you
the
out.
button yourself. This one, someone sent in a picture of their rent payment that their landlord had sent them, and he asked for a tip. There's an option for a tip on your monthly rent. And of course, even a 15% tip on a $1,600 a month rent charge is like 200 some bucks.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Wow.
Let's see. Here's one that had under like a gazebo in a park. They had a little placard with a QR code you can tip the park. Were you
Thanks for
tipping?
being a park. Keep up the good
Appreciate
work.
it. Here's 15%. This is one I actually saw myself a while back. You know how they used to start at 10%, 15%, 18%. Now they've jumped to 15, 18, 20. A lot of them now start at 18, 20. I went to a place the other day that started at 30%.
Oh my gosh.
It's like 30, 35, 40, 50. Are you ever going to tip 50%?
No.
Yeah. And then, asking for tips at self-service checkouts. I've seen that. I just talked about that at the Delta Center. The additional tip line, they call this, what kind of hobbit nonsense is this second tip bullshit? Because they had they had the normal, the cost of the meal, the subtotal, and they had the line for the tip, and the second line for additional tip.
Oh my gosh.
I actually saw one kind of similar to that too. I ate at a restaurant a couple months back that they already factored in an 18% tip on every check. It even said so right on the receipt.
Oh, I hate that.
But then they still had a second line for tip. It's just like if you didn't know this, they already did that 18% tip. You could tip again, but you're tipping on the tip. Here's one on a cab ride. It was a $15 cab ride, and the options for tip were 5, 10, 20, or 25. You're going to tip a $25 tip for a $15 cab ride?
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
This one, the tip options were 15%, 18%, 20%, 77%.
Your firstborn child.
That's not a bad deal.
So yeah, for a $40 meal, the tip they suggested in the last one was $30.61.
Oh my gosh.
And here's online shopping sites asking for a tip. This one is a check that not only does it have the tip, they have a tax for the tip.
What? Is that even legal?
Yeah,
it's probably not, but this receipt shows that. Like someone sent a copy of the receipt. It has the meal price, the tax, the tip, and then the tax on the tip.
Oh,
what?
I don't think that's legal.
No. This one just straight up lies about the percentages. It's like a $97 order and it says 18% tip, $32.22. 20% tip, $35.80. If you do the math, 18% of $96 is like $17, not $32.22. Yeah, here's one that charged a $20 service fee and then still asked for a tip, a restaurant. Here's one where someone sent in a picture that they booked the flight and it asked for a tip on the website afterwards.
For the plane?
Again, who are you tipping? Yeah, the plane, the pilot.
Right.
Anyway, there's more of this type of shit. How many of these things have you seen yourself? One of the dumber ones I saw was when I was in Sacramento last year. It wasn't even a restaurant. I went to a souvenir stand and bought some T-shirts, and they asked for a tip. This crap is out of control. I've always tried to tip, but it's to the point where I don't care anymore. Like, I'll always tip waiters and waitresses. You always need to tip wait staff because they're actually performing the service.
They don't make their money off tips.
Right, exactly. They're deliberately paid below minimum wage so they can make the rest off tips. But cashiers, since when did we have to tip cashiers?
Right.
And what is so special about restaurant cashiers that makes them different from the cashier at the grocery store, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we if you go to dine in a restaurant, you sit down, you're paying for the dine-in experience. But if you're picking up food to go or you're going to like a fast food place, counter-serve place, especially places with self-serve kiosks, who are you tipping? You're deliberately picking these places so you don't have the dine-in experience. Like you mentioned, you picked up a pizza. It happens when we pick up pizzas too. They still ask for a tip, even though I'm deliberately picking it up to go, so I don't have to go in there and have the dine-in experience.
Next time, just be like, "Hey, would you take it out to my car for me?"
And then feed it to me.
Earn this tip.
That sounds like a dick thing to do, but yeah.
So this is my old man rant. It has gotten out of control, and I felt bad about it for a while. I would play along and tip for a while, but I'm done. Except for waiters, waitresses, hairstylists, people who actually perform a service. Actually are performing a service. I'm not tipping cashiers anymore. I don't see the difference between tipping a cashier at TGI Fridays versus tipping a cashier at Walmart or Harmon's or AutoZone.
Yeah. They're just capitalizing on your guilt.
Yeah. Who do those tips even go to?
I don't know.
It probably just goes to the owner's bottom line. It's basically just a way of asking, hey, would you like to pay more for your product than it actually costs?
Yeah. Well, the whole tipping culture is all messed up anyway. It's just a way for people that have money to get out of paying their employees more money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Just pay your employees more. Give them a livable wage. Don't expect me to tip your cashiers.
Right.
Your self-serve kiosk machines or...
Yep. I mean, when you give that money to somebody, you're really just giving that money to the person or the stockholder or the CEO. You're just giving it to them basically because they're not paying their employee. It's ridiculous. Anyway, sorry.
I've kind of run into this also in a different way. Every time I go to pretty much any fast food place, they always ask me if I want to round up to give to kids with cancer or the Ronald McDonald House. Those greedy bastards, those little bald greedy bastards.
Can't wait to put this episode into the AI transcribing machine.
By the way, I just put in the messaging, John, if you didn't see it, what I think the episode name should be for this episode. So,
well, all right, old men.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
It was tragic. That was a tragic story. I need to quit talking over these things. You can't hear what they're saying.
It's all good.
Well, hell, what's next, guys? I mean, we've got another couple hours to go, so what do we got?
It's a marathon.
All right. I love that.
And fertility.
And now it's time for show and tell. Well, who wants to show their tell?
I'll go first.
All right.
If you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
We're
actually recording now, by the way.
I'm going to set this up. So I came across this on TikTok. This is not a joke. This is actually from WikiHow. If I had only had this when I was 12, things would have been a lot less awkward for me. So go ahead, Zach, when you're ready, and cue it up.
Let's do it. I'm so excited.
Let's do it.
Getting an unexpected erection in public can be awkward, but there are ways to hide it. One method is to wear tighter underwear, like briefs or boxer briefs, that can hold down the erection. You can also cover your crotch area with a large object, such as a book or backpack. Another option is to wear a long shirt that hangs over your crotch region, or tie a hoodie or sweater around your waist to conceal the erection. Crossing your legs or flexing your thighs can help draw blood away from the erection. Applying something cold or going to urinate may also reduce the erection. Light exercise can be helpful as well. If all else fails, excuse yourself to a secluded place and wait for things to calm down naturally.
Wow. At our age, that's not really a problem anymore.
It isn't, but I think it's super hilarious that younger people look for answers online to everything. And probably if I'd been, I grew up in this age, I'd probably be looking for those answers just the same way. But I just think it's hilarious. There's actual PSA for how to hide your boner. Sorry.
It's funny. I mean, I'm down with it. It's cool. But there's just also a lot of humor involved there, like the using your backpack. I mean, if this would have come out when we were kids, they would have said, try using something large to cover it, like your trapper keeper, something.
Yep.
Yeah, something a little more 90s driven.
Oh my gosh, it's funny that they're taking it serious. That's what's funny to me. It's just like you learn this stuff on your own, right? So,
yeah,
maybe.
Apparently, it didn't work for Florida man though. He used ice packs to, didn't seem to work.
He didn't have that PSA, and he thought, well, what other way? I mean, when it's cold, it's small, so I'll get an ice pack. I mean, he was trying to help himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's the victim.
The ad was also a bit presumptuous because it's assuming you actually don't want people to notice it. I'd say
you
like
the
wear
bus a lot as a kid, didn't you?
I'd say wear spandex to show it off. Be proud of what you got.
Oh no.
John definitely rode the bus as a child.
Yep. Oh no. Well, that was wonderful.
That's all I got.
Your all of your stuff is just kind of surrounding like boners. Like all of your stories today have to do with all of it.
It's a synchronicity, as they say. You know, everything is just lined up.
It's fantastic. Well, all
Nice.
right. You want a Rochambeau for it?
I can go.
All right.
I can let you close it out if you want.
Sure.
So my wife and I like watching the show 911 about, dispatchers and first responders. So it got me thinking about some actual 911 calls. So I looked up an article. 911 operators share the wildest calls that have them laughing. From actual dispatch. This one guy called 911 to report some strange noises inside the house he was burglarizing. When police came, they arrested him and found out that the noises were just a cat. A lady called 911 when she found a squirrel swimming around in her toilet.
Well,
as we would. Where's Luke?
I mean, I know he'd know what to do.
This person called 911 because they had a fish stuck in their ear.
What?
What do you mean? What? Like you've never? Come on.
What sucks about being a dispatcher is you don't know what happens with these calls. You just decide whether or not to send help, and then that's the last you hear.
Right.
Ones like this, I would need closure on something like that.
Don't they stay on the line though? A lot of the time.
They stay on the line until the first responder gets there, and then they hang up and let the paramedic take over from there. So they don't know how any of these actually end.
John would
of
tell
friends
them
inside the business, though. I bet they do find.
I would hope so. Here's one: a lady called 911 because Burger King messed up her order.
Okay, come on, that's fair.
McDonald's wouldn't have done that, right, Jason?
Hey, I'm not the ambassador for the Golden Arches now.
Uh-huh.
And this lady actually ended up calling again because she said the cops didn't come the first time.
Oh my gosh.
So she called to report the cops for not responding to her first ridiculous call.
Well, I hope they were fired. It makes you want to say ACAB. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh,
show up to Burger King, or that's what you get. I don't know. Anyway,
and this one says
my way.
The favorite call happened when a woman called and said she got bit by a camel because they were working in Malibu at the time. So, not sure where
that makes sense.
Came from.
Malibu Camels. That sounds like a sports team.
Sounds like a cigarette.
It says this lady called me just after midnight and swore she saw a chupacabra on the west side of Orlando and insisted an officer do an area check.
What does a chupacabra look like?
Oh yeah, you don't know because you're not Mexican anymore. I'll find a picture for you.
It was not too long after a coworker was in blah blah blah. He called 2 minutes later saying he saw a kangaroo hopping down the street. So I guess that's what she thought the chupacabra was. Have you seen the actual pictures people post of chupacabras or where they assume are chupacabras?
Yeah, it's got the head of a chihuahua and the body of a chihuahua.
This kind of stuff?
No, not kind of like that. But yeah, these ones at the bottom are actual animals.
Oh, they're just dogs with mange.
Yeah, that's what the wildlife experts say.
Except
they think they're coyotes or foxes to have mange, and so their hair fell off.
So
anyway,
kind of like Will Smith's wife.
You're gonna get slapped, dude. You're gonna get slapped so hard.
Think of what he did to Chris Rock and times it by 10 for you making that comment.
Come on, Will. We know Jada Pinkett is beating you. Come on. I'm just trying to. This isn't an intervention.
This one called and said he cut his penis. And when I answered and said, "You cut your penis?" the trainer smacked me on the arm and told me, "No, he said he cut his hand." So she looked at me like the biggest pervert. Then 10 seconds later into the conversation, the guy says, "Yeah, I was trying on a rubber that was too small and I had to cut it off and I cut right into my penis." And she almost couldn't stop herself from laughing. This one called my dad when he was a dispatcher and said back in 2009, some guy called asking how much weed he could legally have in his car while driving through the state. He argued back and forth with my dad for 20 minutes, with the guy keep repeating and rephrasing the question. My dad just kept responding, none?
Well, say I didn't know it was in there. Come on, work with me.
A lady called in because she thought Willie Nelson was having a cardiac arrest in her trailer and he needed the ambulance for him.
So that is a possibility. Willie Nelson is a homeless derelict.
And he's
Possibly.
like 200 years old.
But I started giving her CPR instructions over the phone, and when the paramedics got there, they found her doing compressions on the cushion of a couch.
Whoa.
Right on.
This time, a pizza delivery guy called 911 because he couldn't reach his destination because a defiant chicken was standing in the middle of the road.
Been there, man.
I stayed with him on the phone as he pleaded with us to finally move along.
Oh my gosh.
It's a chicken. It's not a dog or a cat. Just keep driving.
Dude, they're
Right.
mean. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you're in a car.
Right. So I took a call where a guy insisted he was in an argument with a man dressed as a giant Pepsi bottle. He said the man in the Pepsi suit had stolen his debit card and refused to give it back. On arrival, the officers told me the guy was high as shit and arguing with a vending machine. I like that.
That's awesome.
And this guy called because they had got their head stuck in a cat tree. And the cat was still stuck inside it.
Oh, no.
Throughout the call, I kept hearing the guy be like, ow, shit! And then talking to the cat, dude, this isn't fun for me either. Dude, I know, shit, dude! This caller ended up going to the hospital for a minor case of head lacerations.
Cat bites can send you to the hospital in and of themselves, though.
Oh,
so
yeah. They are
This guy
dirty.
called in because his dog had bitten a seagull and was now acting strange. He demanded that we track down the bird, capture it, and test it for rabies. He was unwilling to listen to reasonable advice, such as the fact that birds can't carry rabies. That's a disease that only mammals have. He then had the audacity to file a complaint against us when we told him we would not be going out there to find the seagull and capture it.
Well, that's so stupid. I mean, I've bitten so many seagulls, and there's no chance. There's no chance you're going to get anything. That's ridiculous.
is that why you had to flee Utah? Is because you were killing the state bird and eating it on a regular basis?
Why are you saying that?
I'm not wearing a wire, I promise.
This call was someone who, the person said they had been pleasuring themselves with the handle of a pair of scissors and they got stuck.
At least they admitted the truth. I mean, most people are like, no, I fell. And
Fell and landed on a pair of scissors.
mm-hmm.
Well, that's actually more believable.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a pair of scissors, though? You know, there's just certain ones that it's like,
They're like kids' safety scissors.
oh, that's weird somehow.
There's a little kid called 911 because he wanted the cops to come and arrest his brother because their mom had told them to share their Legos and his brother wasn't sharing.
Awesome.
Kid said that he was playing. The brother said he was playing with all the Legos, which wasn't even possible because there were too many Legos for one person to play with all at once. Therefore, his brother was a liar, a jerk, and a turd, and we need to come and arrest him.
This kid grew up to be a lawyer.
That's fantastic. Oh, man. Next time Charlie tells me something that one of his siblings did, that bothered him, I'll be like, just call 911, dude. And then I'll deny that I ever said it.
Another kid
That's awesome.
called because their washing machine was broken. Here's one from a college kid who called asking for an ambulance. He was worried that he was having an allergic reaction to the weed he just smoked. When asked what his symptoms were, he said, well, I just can't stop eating Cheetos. And this
Diagnose you with a case of the munchies.
A lady called the fire department asking if she can donate a building for a training burn-in where they burn the building down. After they questioned her a bit, they find out, hey, it's not really a building, it's an RV. So they ask more questions. okay, well, it's not really even her RV, but it's abandoned on her property. After a few more questions, okay, it's not really abandoned. It's my ex-husband's RV, and he's living in it, and he won't leave.
Is that attempted murder?
So could you come and burn the RV down with him inside it?
I think that's attempted murder.
It says the fire department declined.
I thought we already did the Florida Man update.
Yeah.
He didn't say where that was from, but we know. A man and a woman called after they were getting hot and heavy, and the guy ended up getting his junk stuck inside a Gatorade bottle.
God, been there, man. Been there.
It said the whole time you could hear the woman yelling in the background how he should have just asked for a BJ, and none of this would have happened.
From that same trailer park? I mean,
probably. Here's one saying his own personal 911 call. He says, I called the non-emergency police line once for my across-the-way neighbor playing Christmas music at all hours for 7 months straight. Turns out my neighbor is deaf, and they had no idea that their music was playing 24/7 for 7 months, and that they were playing it so loud they could hear it in any room of my apartment across the driveway. The operator was cracking up because I was like, look, it's July. I can't take hearing Holy Night one more time.
But why did it take you 7 months? Who has that much patience? I can barely go to the store and listen to 3 songs before I have to leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The last one. Here's one where a hooker butt dialed a cop in the middle of her job. And they thought she was in distress because of all the moaning over the phone. So they sent people, and yeah.
She ended up in
Just
jail.
found out she was doing her job.
Okay.
So,
well, it sounds like there was a breaking and entering of some sort.
But
yeah, that was lame and cheap.
No, I like it.
So anyway, you're up, Zach.
All right. Well, I don't know if I can follow that. Let's see what I got. Aeroflot. That's the name of the company. Aeroflot. Sounds weird. Aeroflot Flight 593 crashed because the pilot let his kids fly the plane who unknowingly disengaged the autopilot function. The crash killed everyone on board. And I think that probably worked out better for the kid because had they survived, he would have been grounded in 2 ways rather than just the one. Yeah. That's sad. I feel bad about that one, kind of. Why do you let your kid fly the plane? Come on. All right. The scaly foot gastropod, a recently discovered deep sea snail, has a shell that is so impressively developed that the U.S. military is trying to use its design to inspire defensive layers in military armor. And it makes me wonder why they haven't developed other military equipment and tactics based on nature, like combat uniforms for larger soldiers that have big front pockets similar to kangaroo pouches for smaller soldiers to hide in and pop out of. Or if soldiers get pinned down, they can take pills that allow them to shoot blood 4 feet out of their eyes, like the Texas horned lizard, which I think you've mentioned before, John. Maybe
yes,
not.
I want one of those so bad.
Right?
We used to catch them as kids.
Yeah.
I have not seen one in 30 years. I think they've gone extinct in the area.
Well, they ran out of blood.
They all bled out. Yeah, there's no more of them left. I've been looking for decades. I can't find them anymore. Those are the coolest looking things. They're like little dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're
so awesome.
I want one. Or a pill that Navy SEALs can take that allows them to secrete an anal syrup into the water, giving them a clouded escape route, as with the pygmy sperm whale.
Like an ink that an octopus shoots out, or squid, or whatever it is.
Yeah, the pygmy sperm whale does it too, where it's like literally out of their butt, and it's called like an anal syrup according to what I was reading, and then they flap their fins and disperse it and then get away. So.
Incidentally, that was also a product that was marketed by the Eggo company and didn't do very well.
Well, that's a surprise.
Anal syrup.
How have they not bioengineered soldiers to defend themselves like the slow loris, rear up with its hands on its head to create a diamond shape like that of a cobra and hiss, while poison excretes from their armpits? The slow loris is a twofer, though. If things are going really pear-shaped, they can suck the poison from their underarms and poison their attackers with a now venomous bite. We would be unstoppable as the United States. I mean, we kind of already are, but we would be more unstoppable and way cooler, I think.
Our soldiers are all like, like.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's see. This one's lame. In 1866, the United States purchased Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million by writing a check. And it said that when the U.S. whipped out its checkbook after hearing the total, the other countries in line made exasperated sounds because the U.S. could have had the check most of the way filled out by that point instead of waiting until the very end of the transaction. Have you guys run into that recently? Like, I was at Smith's the other day. Yeah, I was at
Most
Smith's.
places don't even accept them anymore.
Smith's does, because I watched it happen. I mean, this was maybe a month ago. And
oh, really?
Yeah, they gave her the total, and she whips out her checkbook, opens it up, starts filling it out. I was like, wow, that's an old thing. We don't do that anymore.
No, but I have one bill that I have to pay just twice a year. It's like the underground water line, something like that.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, they still only accept checks.
Oh.
There's not a number to call. You cannot pay it online. They only accept checks.
It's a scammer
John,
that you've been paying for
like
years.
It's not, but no. No, I've looked into it. It's a real bill you have to pay every 6 months.
But you had to look into it because you were like, wait.
Because, yes, I don't even have I had to get like a checkbook and stamps just to pay this one bill twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Pay to the order of Jason's fake water company.
Like they have a phone number. I can call them. But you can't actually make the payment over the phone. They're not set up for that.
Silly.
And they give me no explanation why. They just say they're not set up. You got to use a check. Luckily, it's only twice a year, so that one checkbook I bought will last me 20 years. But
that's good.
It's ridiculous. Man. How hard would it be to set up a system where they could take phone payments or a website?
I can take payments on my phone,
right?
For things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre. I needed to check for something not that long ago. I don't remember what it was, but my credit union is Cypress in Utah. They don't exist down here. So my money goes there, and I don't have a place to go into to do anything that I need to do. I have to do everything over the phone or the internet. And I looked up checks, and it's like $70 for a book of, 100 or whatever, 50, 30. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because nobody uses them anymore,
Right.
They're antique. They're collector's items.
Yeah, they have to go wake up their great-grandfather. You got to make some checks for some people because you're the only one that knows how to do it anymore.
I'm going to make some checks. They'll be done by supper.
All right. The hands and footprints in front of the Chinese theater tradition started accidentally when silent film actress Norma Talmadge stepped on wet cement. When asked about it by a local reporter and camera person, she had this to say. She's a silent film actress. That's the joke.
I didn't catch that part. Sorry.
I tried to say it because I even put it in capital letters to make sure that I remembered. Like you have to hit silent film. Yeah.
You got to explain to John and Jason the joke.
Well, if you remember,
that good of a joke.
A few weeks back, yet the same joke with Helen Keller. But
right.
We understood that one because we know who she is.
Right.
This Chinese actress, we had no idea who that is, so I missed the silent part.
Right.
Well, he said it. He set it up. He says silent film actress.
Yeah, I just didn't hear that part.
So is the Chinese theater tradition, is that the stars? That's not the walk of, that's the same thing?
That's the stars. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Approximately 1 in every 2,000 babies already has a tooth when they are first born. And I'm assuming it is a trophy from the enemy twin they defeated and absorbed while they were still in the womb.
It's in the hand.
Yeah. It's like, Nutella was invented during World War II when an Italian pastry maker mixed hazelnuts into chocolate to extend his chocolate ration. That son of a bitch created one of the tastiest treats in the world by being cheap. It is so good.
Two things came out of World War II, the atom bomb and Nutella.
Yep. Yay. The price was worth it, right? Like, the highest recorded fall without a parachute happened in 1972 at 33,000.
You mean like surviving fall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
At what?
In 1972 at 33,333 feet. Vesna Volovic was in the hospital for 16 months after the fall. And when asked about it in an interview, she had this to say. That's the joke. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to keep using that joke.
Probably not in good condition after falling 33,000 feet.
I'm assuming.
I'm assuming you wouldn't want to survive after that.
Wait, so was she like a vegetable afterwards? Do you know?
I honestly don't know. I didn't look into it. I just wanted to make that joke again for the third time. I'm going to keep doing it.
Eventually we'll catch on.
I just need to make my jokes better, that's all. They're funny to me.
It's good. It's good. Good.
Ginger beer is brewed and fermented with ginger, while ginger ale is merely carbonated water flavored with ginger. And ginger juice is my midlife crisis rap career name. And I will be playing this Thursday at a local bar, in case you guys are interested in hearing me spit some. I don't even know what the
Bust
phrase
some rhymes.
is. But, oh yeah, we'll go old
Bust
school.
some
Bust some rhymes. Yep. This is stupid. Only one window opens on the presidential car, the driver's window, which is used to pay tolls, I guess. I'm just imagining some surly toll booth operator on the Pennsylvania Turnpike getting angry with the driver. Sir, I don't care who you've got sitting in this ugly ass car. You don't pay your toll, you don't reach your goal. Anyway, the car also has no keyholes. The Secret Service agents or the Secret Service are the only ones who know how to open the doors. Created to keep bad guys out and protect the president, these safety features are now serving a second function as president-proofing of a vehicle, considering the ages of our last two presidents. We don't want them wandering off, you guys.
Silver alert. Silver alert.
There is an uninhabited island in the Bahamas known as Pig Beach, which is populated entirely by swimming pigs, and hopefully Moscow doesn't get any great new ideas. That's a callback to our Moscow water dog episode.
Oh, yeah, that's old school.
Yeah, you'll only get it if you're a long-time listener. So all three of you that have listened to our other episodes, that was a...
Zach's mom is one of those.
I know. So, oh man. So we've got two, like, people that don't feel obligated to listen to us listening to us.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. My mom likes our comedy. She also says I'm very handsome.
Well, yeah.
And I'm probably, like, the best person.
You're so cool.
I know, thanks.
Your mom says you're cool.
Right, exactly. The loudness of a monkey is relative to the size of its testicles. Researchers found that the smaller the testicles, the louder the monkey. And I have a feeling I know why the research stopped right there and moved no further, because the cost of studying every form of human male compensation would bankrupt everybody. Let's see.
It works in reverse with humans. The bigger the truck, the bigger the voice.
Right. Since the death penalty was restored in 1976, and I guess that must have been the U.S.'s 200th birthday gift to itself. Go on, treat yourself. You deserve it. You've earned it.
Fireworks. Fireworks.
Fireworks and execution.
Yep.
Yay!
The states of Washington and New Hampshire have returned to hanging as an available method of execution. California briefly toyed with the idea of lifting its death penalty moratorium and offering its 650 death row inmates a voluntary autoerotic asphyxiation execution method option just to whittle down the numbers a bit, but decided victims' families would balk at what is now a new meaning for the term happy ending.
That was good.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to do one more and then we'll move on. Danish microbrewery McKellar and Rick Astley collaborated on a beer. This is true. A red lager with a hint of ginger. Due to a horrible misunderstanding of which I will not share the details, reviews similar to the following were found in every manner of brewery publication. This unconventional red lager presents a captivating bouquet reminiscent of visiting a public pool with its surprising hint of chlorine. Upon sipping, the palate is greeted with a harmonious blend of tropical pineapple sweetness and an overpowering salty punch akin to a sea spray. Despite it being served warm, this beer defies convention, inviting exploration of its complex flavors that linger like the memories of a cheap motel next to a deserted highway. And if you don't get the joke, I'm saying that Rick Astley came in the vat of beer. Because a hint of ginger.
I thought you were going to say it was going to let you down or...
No, that was the easy joke, you know? I made it hard and it didn't pay off. So now I have to do one more, and I'm sorry. People can suffer from a psychological disorder called boanthropy, which makes them believe that they are a cow. John, you could have trusted us with this. We are a safe space for you, and we love you.
There were signs.
There were a lot of
They've been there
signs.
all along.
So, the end.
His cloven hoofs.
I know. How did we not? He's like, could you type this for me? Because this is really difficult. I'm just mashing the keyboard.
Mashing the keyboard with the cloven hoof.
And getting mad and going,
Oh, there was a bit of a red flag.
Hey, John, give me another squirt of milk, man. My coffee's getting a little bitter. You're a female cow. That's cute. Well, that was fun, you guys.
That was fun.
Well, I guess we'll do this, and then we'll cut to the outro. Does that sound good?
See you guys.
All right, love you. Bye.
Good. Bye.
Subscribe.
I had to get one more in there.